Clara, I'm going to give you some feedback on a few of your poems. I'm going to try to be as fast as I can, but I tend to ramble on too long. All right, focus. Take the challenge. I'm not so in love with the title, but there's so many good things going on in this poem. I think this is the strongest thing that I've seen of yours for sure. I love this first line, nominated by life. Let me make this a little bigger here. I take the ice challenge. There's a little bit of sloppiness you're going to need to take care of, like the not capitalizing the I's and the two periods instead of one or three. And it's poetry, so you can actually do stuff like that on purpose, but here, like, you capitalize it here, so you just got to be consistent. So the things that other people pointed out as being really good, the imagery and sort of like you really feel, like, I feel like I'm dumping ice water on my head because there's a lot of really strong imagery. That's great. That's great. That's great. There's a couple of, now that's needing an apostrophe there. I love this shifts to a blanket of goose bumps. I love that enjambment. That's like A+. That's super, super good. Because it seems like you sort of like a blanket of goose, and you're like, a blanket of goose? What does that mean? Like a blanket of goose feathers? Like that could make sense. But then you keep going, and it's like a surprise, and it's totally great. The only thing, the main suggestion I would have, besides like cleaning up all those sort of lazy, uncapitalized stuff, space, not a C, between things, is to maybe think about like bigger picture implications, like maybe think about what this could be a metaphor for. I mean, I'm assuming this is like the Ice Bucket Challenge where everybody does it and donates to the Lou Gehrig's thing, but and it could be just about that, but I feel like it starts off with nominated by life. I take the ice challenge. I mean, it seems like dumping ice water on your head represents something about life. And I want it to be a little more clear to me just what you're trying to suggest about what that message is. Unfortunately, I can't give you the answer. You have to figure it out for yourself. But this is like totally an awesome poem. But take the challenge, change that title. Running on Empty is, I'm a fan of the end of the poem. I think someone else made a comment about that too. About, the poem is about how tired you are and you have no energy for anything, and then you're like, peace out, I'm too tired to end this poem. I agree with Eloy that like the I'm tired, ironically makes the reader kind of get tired of this sort of repetition. And not to say you need to, I mean, it's like you're doing it for a purpose, but I think if you mix it up a little, like in the middle of one of the I'm tireds, just kind of, go for it without starting with I'm tired. Mix things up a little. My head isn't a highway. Fix all this little stuff, please. My head isn't a highway, so please stop. I sort of get that, I think. Maybe that metaphor needs a little bit more explaining, but maybe not. Maybe I'm just sort of thick. Something like this. These two lines, these are nothing. No offense. But like here, this line, I'm tired of getting up at 5 a.m. to scramble and finish my homework. That is a scene. I can picture that in my head. The image is strong. I'm tired of being so tired. Yeah, that's good. But I don't know, it's kind of like 30 to 40% cliched to say I'm tired of being tired. So you don't want to say that. And I'm tired of never catching a break. Like, that's not fresh language, and it doesn't create an image. Working so goddamn hard, just because you have goddamn in there doesn't mean that it makes it any more impactful. Like, I want the 5 a.m. scramble to finish my homework. That is like just more concrete images like that, and it will be great. Then you have these two other poems that are like both. This is a kind of poem. It's called a prose poem. You'll notice that like this looks like a poem. Like you start over at the beginning of every line, and it's capitalized, and then same sort of here you have it like centered in the page, and it's like line by line. But here it just kind of looks like a paragraph. And I want you to make sure that you are doing that on purpose. You can get away with a prose poem, but there's no reason for this not to be a poem. So I would encourage you to, like, do that. Whatever, I'm not going to do it for you. So you can. I love you is kind of a weak way to start a poem. If you start, I want to do you every minute of the day, I want to do you every minute of every day. That's a good hook. That people are going to be like, what? And they're going to want to keep reading. So that's a stronger beginning. And I like the idea of sort of these poems that are kind of coy and clever, and it's like, it seems like you're talking about one thing, but really it's another thing. But still, even when you're doing that, you got to give me more than I can't get enough of being around you. You make me happy. I mean, you're talking about volleyball. There's lots of like wink, wink, get it, kind of like puns you could make, like about balls and the poles that hold up the net. I don't know what you want to write about, but like this sort of thing, I can't get enough of being around you. You make me happy. That's like that doesn't really create any images in my head, and this could be like a really daring, like raise your eyebrows kind of poem, but it needs to be sort of more concrete. And the bruises, that's getting there. I jump for you and I die for you. I don't know. My two suggestions here are: make this more of a traditional poem, unless you have a reason to make it a prose poem, and try to be like, take it to the next level in terms of cleverness and images with your love affair with volleyball. This one doesn't have a title. This seems like the beginning of something. You just need to like develop it more. I really like the end. Like this, I think your worries are heavy and you carry them around as if you're about to put them down, but we both know the second you do, you'll have no purpose and disappear. I think that's almost brilliant. I mean, that's like, it's sort of a long, rambling sentence that kind of ends with a punch. It's really good, but you need a lot more to get there. And what am I going to say? Concrete images, more figurative language, etc., etc. All right, so I hope this helps give you some ideas for the next draft in all of these poems. Let me know if you have any questions.